we're going to start with some dystopian headlines because I thought that was rather fun yesterday. Some of these I don't know if they're dystopian or not, but they're good for a laugh. But we're going to start with this one. And the dystopian headlines are basically an indicator of how we're already in dystopia. Stocks rise sharply after Biden gains swing state votes. That's not the dystopian part of this article. The dystopian part is U.S. stocks surged Wednesday, led by a rally in technology shares, as investors appeared to coalesce around the idea of a divided U.S. government. So you say the government is divided. You say that there's chaos. We like it, says the stock market. Moving on to coronavirus dystopia, Poland set for new curbs after record cases. So we are going into, a second wave. People are at the end of their wits or ropes or patience or ability to continue dealing with this situation, and here we go with a new wave of cases. And we're going to see very quickly what the fallout from this is. But highest U.S. COVID patients in 3 months. I'm going to read all of these are somewhat dystopian. Rich states' COVID deals may deprive poor of vaccine for years. 45 million pound deal for NHS masks in England collapses amid fraud claims. Here's another dystopian one. China writes COVID response propaganda into school curriculum. I'm not even really sure what that means, but so COVID response, their COVID response is propaganda. The verbiage is amazing to me. Depending on the day, any politician or country's, COVID response is either propaganda or eugenics or caring and compassionate. It just depends on what viewpoint you're writing from on any given day. It just really depends. And lastly, UK COVID death toll rises by nearly 400 in a day. There's your coronavirus dystopian headlines. This headline is the best. This one wins the day. I don't know if this is dystopian or not, but it's hilarious. Donald Trump, the cannibal king, has eaten the Republican Party. Not much more needs to be said for that. Other signs we're living in a dystopian present. How to navigate your sex life when your partner begins taking antidepressants. I'm curious. I'm so curious. I'm antidepressant curious. Here's another. I don't know if this is certainly dystopian, but somewhat strange and also funny. I wanted to meet a mate and have a baby without wasting time. The rise of platonic co-parenting. Apparently, this is about dating sites or mating sites where people find each other to have babies, but not necessarily a relationship. And climate change is thanking you, all you people, by the way. Climate change is saying like, oh, you're just so awesome. Because what we need is more babies by hell or by high water. You don't even need to have a relationship. I guess apparently you just need a bank account. And of course, some kind of certainty that you're going to have that bank account for the entire lifespan of your child. This is a dystopian headline from Whitney Webb. And I encourage you all to go to her website, Unlimited Hangout, secretive HHS AI platform to predict U.S. COVID-19 outbreaks weeks in advance. So apparently they're going to have an AI platform that is going to predict. This actually goes along with another headline, and I'm not sure if I read this earlier this week, although I wanted to. There is an AI app that can tell if you have coronavirus by your cough. So it records your cough and it says, well, we can detect by the kind of cough you have that you have coronavirus, you're positive or negative. And I was like, oh yeah, that's going to work really well. Much like facial recognition software, which misrecognizes people a lot, right? It's not very precise. But in the future, or maybe that future is now, in the dystopian now, you will have an app, you're going to cough at your phone, and this phone is going to go red or green, depending on how it designates your cough to tell them that you are COVID positive or negative. Another dystopian headline from Caitlin Johnson: America has no allies, only hostages. Chilling. The title of this video and subsequent videos, many see this as a dystopian headline. U.S. formally exits global climate pact amid election uncertainty. Certainly sounds scary enough. Had to include this one: self-care at the end of the world. How's that? So how to feel good when the world is falling apart. Golly gee, we really need to feel comfortable on any level, any way that we can possibly find a way to feel some comfort at the end of the world. They're talking about things you can watch on Netflix, which are going to make you feel all better. This is also, so now we're getting into, to round out this section here, we're going to go, this is half utopian, half dystopian. Largest of its kind in the world, plans for 101 freeway wildlife crossing in Agoura Hills released. This is just down the road from me. So apparently they're going to build this huge wildlife crossing across the freeway so that animals can safely navigate the freeway instead of being run over and smashed. Dystopian or utopian? You be the judge. And lastly, I'll call this utopian news. However, it goes along, I think, with the self-care at the end of the world article. Oregon decriminalizes a possession of street drugs, becomes first in the nation. I'm a fan of this. I don't think people should be locked up for doing drugs. If you're harming yourself, fine, as long as you don't harm other people. But yeah, I am a fan of decriminalizing drugs. And what better way to provide some self-care at the end of the world, but, to go get yourself some street drugs and do them without fear of being locked up in prison. Please don't go do drugs, kids, please. I'm not advocating the taking of drugs. I myself am sober and have been sober for a long time. And so I actually advocate being totally clean and sober and being in touch with reality. It's a really great way to live. Everyone should try it. Hey, there are many ways that you can support this channel: PayPal, Venmo, Square, Bitcoin, Ethereum. All the links are in the description box below. You can also support me on Patreon for as little as $1. I post all the live streams there, so you can watch the full live streams